Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So Tim Bradley, the man that's been in the ring with Manny Pacquiao twice, and now has a record of 1-1 with Manny Pacquiao, gives Chris Algieri keys to victory against Manny Pacquiao. Here's what Tim Bradley had to say. We all know that movement frustrates Manny Pacquiao. If he stands there, he's going to get obliterated. If he moves on Manny Pacquiao and makes Pacquiao pick up his feet and chase him around, then he has a better chance of winning the fight. They're not giving him a chance because they don't know who Chris Algieri is. He had a great match against Provodnikov, and then he had another good match against Emmanuel Taylor, and he looked good there. The fans don't really know too much about Algieri, and he doesn't have that big name or that hype, so they're not giving him a chance, end quote. Everything you've heard Tim Bradley say, you guys heard me say on numerous videos leading up to this Pacquiao versus Chris Algieri fight. But one thing he said in particular, he talked about a lot of fans not giving Chris Algieri a chance because they don't even know who he is. It's interesting because I was talking to a casual boxing fan today, and I was like, what do you think about the fight? Manny Pacquiao versus Chris Algieri. And he said, oh, Manny Pacquiao is going to win because I don't even know who that guy is. I mean, nobody really even knows him. And I told the guy, I said, just because you don't know who he is, that doesn't guarantee a victory for Manny Pacquiao, right? I mean, a lot of people didn't know who Nicholas Walters was when he fought against Nonito Donaire. And I remember talking to a couple trainers out here before the Walters versus Donaire fight, you know, asking them their thoughts, and they said the same thing. Oh, I'm picking Donaire. I mean, I don't even know this guy Walters. No one really knows anything about him. You cannot base a prediction on who's more known. You have to base the prediction on skills. Now, obviously, it's a prediction. That doesn't guarantee you're going to be right. But at least you have a better chance of being right if you actually study the fighters before you make your assessment, as opposed to just writing the fighter off and saying, I don't know the guy, so Manny Pacquiao is going to win. But going back to the casual boxing fan I was talking to earlier today, he was a Manny Pacquiao fan, by the way, Filipino guy. He even had some Manny Pacquiao sweats on. I had to go in and get my iPad repaired, and this guy happened to work there. We started talking about boxing. But anyway, he didn't even know. He was a Manny Pacquiao fan, but he was so clueless when it comes to Chris Algieri. He started asking me questions about him. He was like, is he tall? How does he fight? So on and so forth, right? I said, yeah, he's 5'10". You know, he's a boxer. His only downfall is he only has 8 knockouts, so he's not really known for power. And the first thing this guy said was, well, you know, Manny Pacquiao, he fought Margarito, and that guy is like 6 foot tall. And I even helped him out and said, yeah, he also fought Oscar De La Hoya, who's like 5'10" and a half. But the difference is those tall fighters, they didn't fight like tall fighters. They came forward. They were only fighting going in one direction, right? So, you know, in essence, they really were fighting like smaller guys. They were fighting like 5'6" guys as opposed to fighting like a 5'10", 5'11" fighter, right? So when it comes to Chris Algieri, he fights like a tall guy, which means he is the antithesis of Antonio Margarito or Oscar De La Hoya. And you know, this guy, he just started thinking, you could just tell he was really thinking about what I was saying, like, oh, wow, well, I didn't really know any of this. But he's a Manny Pacquiao fan. He knows Manny Pacquiao has a fight coming up, and that's really all he knew. So bottom line is Tim Bradley, he made some good points. Obviously, that doesn't guarantee Chris Algieri a victory, but what Tim Bradley said, it made sense. And one more thing, since I know how casual fans operate on the internet, I know someone is going to say, well, how is Tim Bradley supposed to give advice to Chris Algieri when he lost to Manny Pacquiao? First thing I want to say is Tim Bradley and Chris Algieri, they have different natural elements to their game. Now, one thing they have in common is both Tim Bradley and Chris Algieri, they both have a good jab. But the difference is Tim Bradley is only 5'6" or 5'5.5" when he's jabbing, okay? Chris Algieri is jabbing at 5'10". All right? He moves a little bit more than Tim Bradley does. So you guys have to understand, even though Tim Bradley and Chris Algieri are both boxers, Chris Algieri, he has different advantages that Tim Bradley did not have against Manny Pacquiao. The reach and the height is a big difference, okay? By no means am I saying this guarantees Algieri a win over Manny Pacquiao. I'm just giving you guys a little bit of contrast, okay? So that's pretty much all I got. I'm on to the next one.